Lost my window that I needed. There we go. All right, Noreen, I think is going to start us off. Do you want to share, Noreen, or do you want?
I'll go ahead and share, and welcome back, everyone. We are on session 3 and so excited to see you. A little echo happening somewhere.
Yeah, remember to mute. I'll try to find people if they're not muted, but mute yourself. Thanks.
There we go. Perfect. So great to see you all back for session 3 of 5. We are starting out with our reflection. This helps us to know what questions that you had as you worked on the homework, and then also gives us feedback for the session so that we can make sure that they are catered to your needs. So we're going to be quiet for about 2 to 3 minutes and ask you to kindly fill out that reflection. And I just put the link in there. Did I put the editing link in there again? I hope not. Hopefully this is the one that's not the editing link. Let me double check that. It was last week I allowed everybody to just go in there and edit it, change the questions. So let's see if I did that again. Okay, no, you shouldn't be able to edit this one. There we go. Yep. So if you'll just take just a few minutes to fill this out again, it lets us know that you're in attendance today for a session. Also, if you have any questions based on your homework and feedback for the sessions. Did it get edited? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me see what happened here. Oh yeah, it sure did. Okay. So that was not us. That could have been on a different session. So that's fun. All right. There's always so much fun with this
Oops.
form. So it's okay. We'll have a new form out there again next week. We use the same form over and over, and this is actually from the Minecraft team, and they share it with us. And it looks like somebody got the editing link again sometime between our past session and this session. So that's okay. We'll make sure that gets corrected next time. So let's go ahead and then just kick off our session then for this evening. Thank you all for your understanding about that. So once again, this session is being brought to you by the Northwest Council of Computer Education. We are partnering with Minecraft Education Edition. We have our Twitter handles up there and we'll post those in the chat again, but we love seeing what you're doing not only during the session, but between the sessions. I've seen a lot of homework being posted on Twitter and just a lot of great learning experiences. So we do encourage you to continue to use social media to share those adventures. And then Noreen Dooley, been with you on this journey. I'm from Houston, Texas, and Aaron Hubler. So sorry, Aaron, I just butchered your last name. Aaron Hubler from Idaho is not only our fantastic DJ at the beginning of the sessions, but he is also a part of this journey. And he has some great things to share about multiplayer, which is what we're going to get into today. So just a reminder, we do give out 2 door prizes. Oh, no. Janice, don't worry about the form. Somebody went in and edited it, and then they've added some things that are now kind of cryptic, and we don't know what the questions are. So we will go in there and we will correct those questions. So no worries. So each session, we do give out 2 door prizes. If you earn a door prize or get a door prize, I will send you an email and give you the instructions on how to redeem that. It does take about 4 to 6 weeks. So if you redeem a door prize, it might not be instant, but you will get something in 4 to 6 weeks. So tweet, throw things in the chat, participate. We'd love to see it all. So we are going to review your homework that you had this past session, and then we are going to go into what we absolutely love, the multiplayer world and getting in there and being able to work together. However, Erin's going to go over this too. When we do this with such a large group, and we know we'll talk about the logistics of how we all have to be on the same tenant, there is a chance that it might not work. So we all have to go in there with that positive mindset that we're going to give it a try. If it doesn't work, it's totally okay. We have some other great stuff that we're going to share if this doesn't work, but we do really want to give it a try because it is so much fun to get into a multiplayer world and then to see what it would be like for our students. So we just want to preface this so that we ask you all to just be patient. No, it may or may not work because we are all over the world, which makes it exciting, but it also does provide some logistical obstacles that we might experience, the little bumps along the way. But our hope is to be able to get everyone into a multiplayer world today and then go over some best practices when you do this with your students. So where we are now, we're currently already on the third session, and this session is going to go over your homework that you had for last week, which was the world and game management and assessment and feedback tools. And then you're going to have 3 homework assignments this week. I know it upped a little bit from last week, but you're going to look at lesson simulation, collaborative gameplay, and then classroom readiness for your homework. And so we just talked about our homework for next week, and we'll remind you about this at the end of the session as well, and where you can find these courses. But we first want to get into our breakout, because remember, we know that you all are doing a lot of learning outside of the session. You're doing your homework with that, but the power of these sessions is to be able to get together and talk and collaborate and meet people from around the world and share and just get ideas from each other. So we're going to put you in a breakout group again. And this time when you get in that breakout group, we would love for you to share what you liked about last week's homework and then any questions that you have regarding the homework. And remember, the homework was on assessment and it was on managing. So when you come back from your breakout group, we're going to ask you to share some things so that you talked about from your breakout group. So again, your focus is on last week's homework, things that you learned or questions that you may still have based on that homework. So I'm going to go ahead and start creating our rooms. It just takes just a moment to do that.
Yeah, I'll talk while she's doing that so she can concentrate on what.
I'm multitasking.
I know it's kind of hard to talk and click and make sure you get all those things done. So, so as the slide says, we'll put you in a breakout room and then just talking about last week's homework, what questions you have. Again, discuss that. You might have ideas for how you used it. A few people may have been trying things out or already used those tools. And so you can get some insight from them. Again, this is just a chance to share with each other what you've learned, what you hope to do with Minecraft, struggles about Minecraft, and maybe people have some answers for you in there. So hopefully that is what will happen. And again, remember the breakout rooms, you'll probably just start getting pulled out to the breakout rooms in the middle of me talking, and then there hopefully will be a quick warning of, oh, you're about to come back. So we'll try to keep that at 5 minutes. And then, as Noreen said, when you come back, we'll have you share a little bit about what you talked about or about what your thoughts are now that you have a little bit more information about that. There's a little discussion in the chat about working with, oh, it looks like you're going to be moved here pretty quick, so you probably won't hear the rest of what I said. So I'll say that when we come back. So you'll probably get
Hello, I'm Sandra.
Where are you, Sandra?
I'm in just outside of Ottawa in Ontario, Canada. And you?
Outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, are you getting lots of snow too?
We've had a little, not as much as you all, obviously, but yeah, a little bit for, you know, southern dusting, as we'd like to say. No school has been canceled. That's how we measure our success.
We're hoping for a snow day tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, for sure.
So what did you like best about what we did last week?
For me, I liked going through all the formative tools. So I've dabbled in them before, and I think I left feeling a little bit more comfortable, especially with the MPC players, being able to put in your URLs, and I feel like I could jump right in now. And you?
I did like that. I'm not as comfortable embedding the link as probably you are, but I did like where we got to explore the worlds that were prefabricated, and then you could export those, because I had no idea, really, I'm such a rookie at it, that, you know, other than what you could make was actually out there, you know. So that to me was a real aha moment that I enjoyed. What about you, Craig?
Yeah, that's what I've been actually working on. I'm an instructional technology specialist for my district here in Houston, Texas. No snow, no ice, no anything. We're too far south. I mean, it was 72 degrees today, and they're worried about frost tomorrow. I'm like, no, we're not dropping 40 degrees overnight. Trust me. Anyways, so I've been approaching this. I'm not looking at it from the creation aspect, but you know what's already out there. I know Noreen shared her last week. I started building a wakelet. My district is not ready to transition yet to using Minecraft, but I know eventually we will be there. So what I'm trying to do is find for each content area, what are really some high quality activities, worlds, modules that are already out there that have been made that teachers would be able to just utilize right away rather than building from the ground up. Because, you know, I think unless you're really going to, unless it's going to be the focus in your class or the focus of your course, I think you're going to have to rely on using modules that are already pre-made, because it's just the time and also the, you know, depending on how creative you are to build it.
Yeah. And I think with new teachers, I know at least in my school, I can hear teachers say, oh, well, we've done that. So they just throw the kids into Minecraft, and they don't send them into like a structured world where the tutorial's already set in place with all that rich learning. And then the kids have a ball, but there's nothing coming out of it from their perspective. So that's, to me, the best way to go is to use those tutorials. Yeah, for sure.
And don't you think that, especially initially as something is rolled out, the least amount of time that a teacher has to spend on the creative end and can spend more time on the implementation of it, you get more bang for your buck. That's how it is in our system anyway. If it's time intensive, you know, I mean, we've got, you know, like everybody, a million things to do in 15 hours. So,
Yeah.
you know, I appreciate that.
No, it's very true. We went to our first LMS this year with Schoology, and we still don't have full implementation. And part of it is just because people just don't want to take the time to like build out their course and start transitioning to like utilizing a blended learning environment in their classroom.
And you're probably the leader on that forefront, being an instructional technologist, you know, like you're the commercial for it all.
It's job security.
There you go.
Did any of your, Alex, or Craig, did any of your classes go online, like fully online, any of your schools?
For this year?
Yeah.
For this year, when we got back from the winter break in January, for the first time this year, we actually had to move 2 schools online for a week.
Oh, just a week.
Yeah. But other than that, we've been, you know, since last year, I mean, our district, we've been really good with like all the protocols and all the students are wearing masks, teachers are wearing masks, you know, we're not doing the temperature checks like that anymore, but like we've been really partnering with the community. So, I mean, it's still not a, you know, it's not a walk in the park, and it's still difficult, but we've been able to at least stay in the classrooms and keep schools open so far.
That's good. That's good.
I know our district gave parents a choice at the beginning of each semester. You could do a virtual online schooling where you were separated from everybody. You know, you were just virtual school. You weren't anchored to your home school, or you could do face-to-face.
Yeah.
So they still have that option, but I'm glad to be back in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel very effective doing it all online.
What's the breakdown? How many, I mean, for percentage wise online, what are you looking at right now?
Oh, our district has probably, I would say 60,000 kids. We're the second largest in Georgia, and maybe 2% chose full online.
Okay.
Not many. Not many. And most of those I think were for health reasons or, extended family had health reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, before we get sucked out of here, it was great talking.
Well, I'll follow you, Craig, on Twitter then.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'll
Yeah.
take a look at your Wakelet for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. It's still being built. And obviously, if you have any suggestions, feel free to send them my way as well.
Great.
I'm just learning how to fly the thing. Are you kidding? You'll not hear.
Could you repeat that question?
Can we have longer breakout sessions, please?
I know we get in the middle of saying something and then we get sucked out. I know. It's
But
tough.
it's good. It's good to be able to share, but of course, it's collaborative. So probably we'll request NCE to have like an hour of breakout session.
Yes.
Bonnie, is Kawano here?
A lot of times we're the only ones in our district
Let me
that are using Minecraft. And so it's nice to have other people to talk to bounce things off of.
She's here.
First time she wasn't in my breakout.
I'm really glad to hear
and
you
share
say that because that is the power of the breakouts and the power of these sessions is just to be able to talk with other people that are using Minecraft or even just getting started with it. And I know those breakouts seem short. We do try to give 5 minutes to do that, but because we were trying to go into multiplayer, today you're actually going to go into another breakout room with more people as we build. So there'll be another opportunity. But welcome back to our big group. So before you went off to your breakouts, sorry, we have to do a group picture because that's just me. I got to get our weekly group picture here. So just works well when we come back from breakouts because some people have their cameras on. So we'll grab a quick picture of seeing you all there. I'll give you a few seconds in case anybody else wants to turn their camera on or they're just joining us again. Awesome. All right. Here we go. Got it. And I'll take one more. Just in case. Eyes closed. All right. One more. Here. All right. Got it.
Oh, come on, Cuddy makes me feel scary because he's driving. Don't look the camera, Cuddy. Just keep on the road.
I swear my eyes are on the road. The hands are
That's great.
That's
Safe driving.
Just don't get in an accident. I
I
see you
won't.
driving down
No,
there.
we don't want that.
Signed a waiver.
Okay.
I'm not going to be joining the multiplayer session today.
Safety first. We understand and appreciate that. Definitely safety first.
Joy
So
of technology, right?
before we went into our breakout rooms, you had the suggestion to talk about your homework, any questions that you had. The breakout room I was in, I couldn't stop giggling because they were talking about some productive struggles and things that happened. So that was fun to hear. So it's okay if you didn't talk about the homework, but we would just like to give you a moment because we are on week 3. So just to you're in general with Minecraft Education Edition to answer this question and think about, I used to think, but now I know. So it can be anything with Minecraft, but just think about, the 3, we're now on this week 3. So what did you used to think maybe before even session 1, before we started, but now you know? And so I know I said the topics up there are for world and game management and assessment and feedback, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be anything so far with Minecraft Education Edition. But group 1 is going to go first, and group 1 is all of our friends out there that like sushi. You are going to answer this prompt first over there in the chat, and you are going to answer, I used to think, but now I know. And then group 2, you are going to be doing that in just a moment if you don't like sushi, but we're going to let our group 1 go first. And then group 2, you can be replying to group 1 as they add stuff over there in the chat. So group 2, our friends out there that don't like sushi, see if you can find someone from group 1 to reply to in the chats. Wow, these are all really good. Seeing a lot of common themes too about maybe not originally seeing the importance of it, but now seeing how it is important and can be related to curriculum and be meaningful.
Noreen, I can't see any of the chat, even with my chat open. It's just like nothing new is popping up. Is there something I can do to fix that?
I have experienced that in the past happening, and I have had to leave and come back. That's not always the best, what everybody wants to hear, right? But sometimes it's like it gets stuck. And so if you leave and come back in, that might refresh it.
I will be
Bonnie,
back.
Bonnie knew I was going to tell her that.
Of course, I kind of, yeah. I'll be back.
Okay. Those are also wonderful to read. So much positivity and growth throughout these. Once again, thank you all for sharing, for replying to each other.
My chat's still not updating.
Erin, do you have any suggestions?
I did see that she's there as a guest, and I don't see that the same as other people. I don't know if it's what that means exactly if you haven't logged in, because I see other people as guests and they aren't saying that they're not seeing it. So I don't know if
it's just me
needing to sign in to
that sounds like the breakout group that we were just in.
Well, I was just sharing with my group. I was working on the NPC module, and then my avatar just started throwing out NPC eggs like continuously for 24 hours. I couldn't stop it until my son came and typed in some command after 24 hours because I was like, there's nothing. I couldn't exit world builder. It was just, so it's just me. Okay, let me try something else. I'll rejoin.
Another thing, Bonnie, I have noticed, this has also happened to me if I've logged in with a different tenant, like I've used a different email address to log in, then maybe what the calendar invite was sent to, then sometimes there's a conflict with being able to see the chat too.
Okay, well, let me try again. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Try completely quitting the app, Bonnie.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's true. Well, these are also wonderful. I need to go back and read through the chat and catch up with these because thank you all for sharing. That's actually very inspiring to see the growth and the ideas and how you're relating it to your curriculum and even empowering other teachers and educators with it. So thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so we're going to do one more thing before we jump into multiplayer. And the reason that we have to do this is because when we get into a multiplayer world, we all need to be on the same tenant, which means that we have to have the same email address. So I'm going to throw this link, or maybe Aaron might beat me and he might throw that link over there in the chat. Let's see, we'll have a race here. Who can throw it over there fastest? Aaron, of course. Okay, so there's the link for this. So what this is going to take you to is a Word document that we can all edit. And what we need you to do is to choose any of these. It doesn't matter. Just you're basically this is going to give you the username and the password that you're going to use to sign into Minecraft today so that we can join a multiplayer world, so that we all have the same email address. And obviously we all have the same password on there too. but just find an empty spot and just put your name in there. And also, please make sure that you note what number it says. The numbers over on the left don't mean anything, but where it says future and then a number, that's very important. You need to know what number it is. So like Christine just signed up. She's going to be future 11. So Christine, make sure you know your future 11. That's going to be important. And this is going to ensure that we're all in the same tenant and the same email address to be able to attempt to join a multiplayer world together. You don't have to note that entire email address. I'll throw that over there in the chat so that we have that in there, but just make sure you know your future and what number comes after future.
Yeah, sorry, heads up. I'm still going to be driving for a bit, so I won't be able to join.
Yeah,
We
don't
would,
worry.
yes. Safety first.
But I have done extensively hosting already for the past year in public schools, and it's been great experiences. So I'm psyched that people get a chance to explore it if you haven't already.
Awesome. Yes, we are hoping this works today. And if it doesn't, that's okay. We're still going to talk about best practices and why things might work and why they might not work. But we just wanted to give this a try in hopes that it will work. So we'll give you another moment to just make sure you add your
It
name.
is not allowing me to edit from my phone, but I just got to a computer.
Okay, and I can throw you on a number too if you're not able to do it.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing that, assign me one, and then I can use it.
All right, and that's Cody. Cody, you're going to be number 27.
It's Jason Collar on one of them too.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Cody talking. Oh yeah, Jason, you're right next to Cody up there. Sorry. Okay. Thanks. Spell your name right. There we go.
A question about now that we are going to enter to a different account, a student eventually asked me if there is a way to save the login because it's their computer and not to try every time that login to open the app to re-enter. Is there a way or an option, or you always have to type your account?
That's a good question. I've always had to type my accounts. I have not had it to where it's saved. It saves all of my, I have different accounts and it always asks me which one, and then I have to put in the password for that, but I haven't found a way to get it to save. And I always think it's like that key to get into the application. So it's always just verifying that it is that person. Oh, yes. Adriana, you're going to be number 28.
And in the chat, Isabel, Christina Gomez looked like she was on the phone. She's asking to wait, but Christina, we could add you on the list as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. She will be 29.
All right, Isabel, you're 29.
Sorry, I see that in your Word there is just a slot for 3 items to choose and enter. Usually there is 4. Why do you have just 3 in this tenant? Is it a setting or something like that?
I'm not understanding your question. Can you?
Sorry.
No,
when I
that's okay.
tried, I have opened with your account, and when I click to join a world, I see that in the chat you can see the picture. Usually in Minecraft there is 4 icons or elements that you choose in order to join to the world. But in this case, I just see three slots.
Yeah, it may be Noreen might be able to answer that more clearly, but this was provided to us by Microsoft Minecraft, so they might have simplified this a little bit, or it's a special kind of sandbox area. But yeah, usually there's 4 icons to join someone else's world. You're right. So if there's only 3,
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Because they were just making it simple for you. Yeah, I see the screenshots now.
Yeah.
Rodora Santos would like a slot also.
She'd be 32.
32, it sounds like.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to leave that in case anybody didn't get a chance to join and add your name. Looks like you all did.
Yeah,
Just great.
Isabel, tell me her number again. She's on a PC. What's her number when we get, I think you signed her up. I can't remember what.
29.
29, Isabel.
All right, Erin, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can start
All
talking
right.
about the logistics of multiplayer, and then we're going to get these breakouts set up.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So we'll just hopefully have this swap. Give me just a moment to make sure I get it. I have Minecraft open, so my computer starts going a little bit more slowly. So we'll talk for a minute about the logistics of getting students into the same world and what some of the maybe barriers are, so to speak. And again, transitioning here, trying to get my screen shared. Okay, I think you're able to see that now. That's the breakout slide that we were on a minute ago. All right, here we go. All right, so collaborative gameplay. One of the things is we need to be, sometimes we need to be on the same tenant, and that's why we gave you all these logins that are future at Minecraft education and so on, so that we're all on the same tenant, we're working together. I did have a teacher tell me that his students that were at home were able to work together, but they would have been on the same tenant. But my students that are in the classroom couldn't work with the students at home, and that was because our district has kind of locked down so that the devices can't talk to other devices off of our school grounds, off of our sites. So that, just be aware that if you're trying to have hybrid situation and some kids are at home and some are in your classroom, there may be a firewall, so to speak. Again, this is beyond my technical understanding, but there may be something that blocks those students from being together. But the students in the classroom should be able to get together on the same tenant. And if they're at home, maybe those kids that are at home could work together. We have a lot of people in this group, so again, we'll see how this goes, but teachers have said if it's more than 40 players, it starts to bog down too much. One computer has a hard time hosting that, so we'll see how my computer does with that. And then we have to be on the same version, and you can see down here in the bottom right-hand corner, 1.14.70, and I believe that's the version that I'm going to be on and I'm going to have. So we have to be on the same version. And so if you're not on that version, we may have a little trouble joining the same world. Sorry if there's some background noise in my room. And so somebody says version 1.17. I have, this is the one that I have. This is the same number that's on my version. So maybe I'm not the most up to date.
Yes, it looks like it's 1.14, and it looks like everyone has the 1.17.
17. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to update that quickly, but like we said, we're going to give this a shot. Maybe put in the chat which version you're on, and we'll see if I can get updated here or not. I don't know if I'll be able to. Keep that in mind, though, when you're with students. If they aren't on the same version, they'll have trouble sharing a world. And then when you're playing together, there's the version highlighted again. So these are some slides that I got from a teacher, and these are what she presented to her students to kind of share so that they could share worlds. She started out smaller and had small groups and said, okay, this small group is going to go to this, go in a world and work together, and this small group is going to be in a different world and go together. And they were working on worlds where they were building an ancient civilization kind of city. And so rather than having all 25 students in the same world, the smaller groups allows a couple things, that one student hosting Sorry, I'm looking for an update here to see if I can get an update or not. The student that's hosting doesn't have to have quite as powerful of a computer. They can host just a few students and it works still pretty well. And then there's less management in that group. There's not so many kids running around and possibly destroying things, and it's a little easier for them to work together and collaborate. But these are the groups, the slides that she showed her students. When you open the world and the first student opens the world, they can pick a template or blocks of grass or whatever it is, and then they say start hosting. Okay, and then this tab, and they say start hosting, and then it will give them, like was mentioned, that you want to go ahead and host, and it gives them a join code, which is usually these 4 icons, and then the other players in that world put in those icons. The other students, they say play, but then they choose join the world, and then they enter those 4 codes. And in the past, it was a lot more complicated to join the world, but this has made it a lot simpler and a lot more fluid for students to join the world. And I'm going to show you this in just a minute in the game. So the other thing that might be helpful is at the end, the way that the worlds work as far as who owns it, the person that started it, the host, owns that world and it's saved on their device. And so if it's a multi-day project and they come back the next day, that person has to open that world on their device and then share the join code again, share a join code with the other students. So we've all had projects where students are working together and then one student takes all the content and then they come back the next day, they're supposed to work on it, and the one student that has all the information is absent. So if that happens with Minecraft, if that owner of the world is absent, those other people are not going to be able to open the world. And so the way this teacher worked around that is at the end of each class, she had the owner of the world go to manage the world and export it and save that world file, and I think those world files are one of the sessions that you can work through in the online course, and export it and save it and then share that folder with everybody else in the group so anybody else could open it and be the host the next day. So just a little heads up for that so that you're aware. All right, before we go to those breakouts, okay, so the other thing she mentioned, and just a hint, is to give some direction in Minecraft and what are the expectations, and TNT and fire is not allowed. They didn't want redstone because it's a little bit like electricity, and they're doing ancient civilizations, so electricity didn't exist. No potions. So give some of those guidelines and be specific about what you want students to do, especially starting out. Some teachers who have used Minecraft with their students a lot give very little direction because they want students to be creative. But if it's the first time and you're nervous about, they're going to go all over the place and do all kinds of stuff. Give them specific tasks to do, and that helps a little bit. So, all right. So, in a moment, what we're going to do is I'm going to try to host a world, and we'll see how that goes, because I think I have a version that's not as updated as many of you. It looks like I'm on a version that's off. So
I can try to host it.
I was just going to say, Noreen, do you want to try to host? Because I think most people have a more updated version than me. And again, it's my district that's not as updated. So I'm going to let you go ahead and host. But I can still kind of demonstrate or do you want to demonstrate, Noreen, the finding the share code and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. I am just making sure that I'm putting in. So I'm future 57, but you all hopefully will know your number, so you can put in whatever number that is on that form. And so I'm going to go ahead and log in with my future 57 here.
So once we get in the world, though, I'll explain that. So once we get in the world, I think Noreen's going to launch a template world that basically has different plots of space, and so they're numbered. And so if you're group 1, go to plot 1, and if you're 2, go to plot 2, and together you can work on something. So we'll put you into breakout rooms, go to your plot, and figure out a destination, kind of talk together and think about a destination to build. Again, our opening question was, what would you show people when they came to visit you? But since you're not in the same place, maybe just pick a destination, like we're going to build a beach or the Eiffel Tower or something that you all could kind of work on together, and then work together to build that destination. So you're working together to build something like the Eiffel Tower or a forest, scene or something like that. While you're kind of thinking about what are the challenges of working in the small group, what are the advantages, what are students learning as they try to work in a small group? Since you're going to be in a breakout room, you should be able to talk to each other and chat and help each other. And then you can share a screenshot. Now, as Noreen said earlier, this may not work very well. We have so many people and we're trying to host everybody in the same world. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know about you, but as a teacher, I've had lessons where I've just said, okay, we're changing direction. That's not going the way we want it to go. So if that happens, we'll just change directions. Early in the very first session, we had a slide that said, let's not overthink it. It's just a game. Fail, reset. We may have to do that. So not trying to set us up for failure, but just in case, know that we'll regroup and kind of show you some other things. But we did want to try this because it's one of our favorite things about Minecraft is working together and having to collaborate in this space. So it looks like Noreen is sharing her screen, and so I'm going to let her take over from here.
And if nothing else, if it doesn't work where you can't join, you're still going to go into a breakout room and you'll be able to discuss this, and maybe one or two people can join, and you can still have those rich conversations and share throughout this journey. So I am going to give you the share code in just a moment, but so I'm logged in, I'm Future 57. So when you log in, make sure you're logging in with your future, whatever number it is, and then we all have that same password. And we are going to be working in the town template, and this is one of my favorite templates to work in. So I'm going to go to create new, and I'm going to go to templates, and then it might show up here or it might not. It was at one time called Starter Town. Now you can actually just find it as Town Template, so either one might work. But I'm going to go into this one, and one of the reasons I love this one, and even actually before I host it, I'm going to just go in here and play, because this one not only gives you a town where your students can go in and explore, and there's lots of different areas that they can go in, but what some people don't know about is in this town, there's actually plots of land that are already numbered off. So when you're having your students all join one group or one world, they can go and they can choose a plot. So you can have a team. Team 1, you're going to go to plot 1 and you're going to work on that. And team 4 is going to work on plot 4. So as soon as we get in here, I'm going to fly up and show you where those plots are. And then I'm going to invite you to join this world as soon as my world loads. That awkward moment of silence as we wait for our worlds to load.
Used to happen, don't worry.
Thank you for your
Yes,
understanding.
it happens. Someone's asking about, will accounts be available for us to continue the task after our session today? I think the account will probably work for a short time, but since Noreen is hosting the world, no one else will be able to get back to the same world because it's saved on Noreen's device. She would have to export it and share the world with you, and then you would have your own copy of the world. But finishing the project is not the main task. It's to experience the collaborative experience with Minecraft.
And so when you get into this world, you usually land in like a little pavilion. And then I like to fly up so that I can see everything. And when you start flying, so here's what happened, because I know it's hard to see from where I am. So I landed in this world and I landed on a pavilion and I just walked forward straight, just walked. And then as soon as I got out of that pavilion, I just flew up. And then when I flew up, I'm now like flying towards the right. And notice how there's all these plots of land over here. It's like a little hidden secret. So if your students are group 16, or think about it, individual students can also be doing this because I number my students by alphabetical order. So, you know, my number 17 student can come over and then they work on this plot right there. Just go to this plot and they have this nice little plot of land that's already bordered off for them. And then everybody can be building in the same world, which is a lot of fun. So that's just kind of a little hidden secret in this starter town. But now I want you all to try to join this world. So I escaped. And when I escaped, you know, we looked at these settings in past sessions, but there's the second tab up here. And I'm going to start hosting this world. And then I'm confirming that I want other people to join. So now you on your side of this, it's going to look a little bit different because when you go into Minecraft, you have the option to join a world. So Aaron, do you think you can
For
show
what?
that, throw that screenshot in there of what it looks like to join the
Yes.
world?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. And so when you join a world, it's going to ask you for this code. And so you're going to be putting in the code of water bucket, sign, or fish. I do also have the ability to share a code, which I do really like this too. So I can try to throw this in the chat and sometimes this one will work also. So I'm sharing the link over there. That might also work instead of putting in the codes up there. But we're going to see if people can join. Is it saying unable to connect because you're using that link? Mine too. Okay. Using the code. Okay. IP. Oh, you all are trying the IP address too. All the workarounds. Perfect. Use the code that's in mark. Okay. Aaron, have you by any chance been able to update to the new version?
I have not. And so, yeah, it just says unable to connect, which I expected because I don't have the same version, but I haven't been able to update.
Okay, so there's something else that I found with this is that if you're on a slow connection and you're the one that's hosting it, it doesn't always, that causes some issues too. So I am on a slower connection this evening, unfortunately. So my friend Jim, who I know is on this call, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot. And I am wondering if you would mind trying to host, if you have a strong connection, would you mind trying to host this game for us to join?
Thank you. I am on a good connection, but I'm having an unable to connect message as well.
Okay. Jason, okay, you have a good connection. Do you want to try to host the game, Jason? And can you let us know the join code and we can try hosting, or we can try joining?
All right, so I'm gonna do create new template, and it's the town, right?
Yes.
Need more templates. Is that in starter worlds? Starter town, there it is. All right, creating world. Worlds created. Oh, you guys can see my screen?
No, but I'm going to
No.
join your worlds. if you tell
Okay.
us the
Not yet.
code.
Not yet.
Building
Not yet.
Building the terrain. Here we go. Let's do it. Yeah, I got my whole house
Such a
hardwired.
positive group. I love it.
All right, join code is, and I'm Alex too, it says. Join code is sign agent. Sign agent. There it is. Sign agent.
Still getting unable to connect.
Oh, bummer.
In case.
Wah, wah, wah. Well, let's start the call off with that disclaimer that it may or may not work. We're hoping it would. These accounts did actually work on an earlier session today, so we were being very optimistic and hopeful that they would work, because it's a lot of fun to get into a multiplayer world and be able to see each other and collaborate and join and build together. So we appreciate you all with your patience and still trying to do this and attempting it with us. But I think at this point, we're still.
You
Okay,
froze
just
for a
got
second
kicked
there,
out.
Noreen.
All right,
Okay.
little blip there.
You're back.
Okay, so we're still actually going to put you in the breakouts, because our breakouts were cut a little short earlier so that we could do this. But it sounds like we have several of you who have done multiplayer with your students. And so maybe by getting in these breakouts, you can talk about that experience, or even talk about how this would work going through what Erin has mentioned with the specifics on what is needed. I will tell you, this is not what has happened today, is not the case that usually happens in the classroom, because you all are on the same email address and the same tenant. We're trying to do this with these sandbox accounts, and that does provide, there's some roadblocks with that. It's not always 100% guarantee. So did some of you get into the worlds? Yeah, you said. Okay, so I'm still going to put you in the breakouts. So when you get in the breakouts, we still have a conversation about what this might look like, some of the things that Erin talked about, some of the things that you need to know. And then those of you who have done this, if you can share, that would be perfect. We'll just have these short little breakouts. We'll get back and we'll recap. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. We tried, but this is very powerful when it comes to using it with students. So let me throw you in those breakout rooms, and then we'll join back in just a few minutes.
Yeah, while you're leaving and while she's doing that, I put a few questions in the chat. If there's nothing else that you talk about, but why is collaboration important? What are some rules for in-person collaboration compared to online or in this type of game collaboration? What would be different? You know, some of those types of things. So